I don't know if you've noticed, nimekuchapia tu TBT. My TBT kali sana. Here with White Man, I'm like, what was with the rappers, them wakitambo in, a simple rap message on top, ameingia kwa rhyme and stuff. Like, haikuwa na pressure mob. White Man, ni aje ndugu yangu? Karibu sana. And of course, when you see White Man here, or when you hear the voice of White Man, it's time for
Switch and Chill, your guide to Christian movies. Listen and live.
Yes, and we're about to guide you in matters Christian movies. We want you to watch nice movies, godly movies, well-produced movies, and enjoy. Like there's a catalog, watuwezi maliza mtu wangu. Wache kucompromise na mamovie. Some people out there, point yao, unajua wakati una deal na kitu unaangaliaga source. Unaangaliaga mi ufanya hivi, source ya mi kufanya hivi ni wapi? Wengi ni mamovie na mangoma zenye wakionanga tu ngoma fulani. Amerudi. So ngoma safi hapa. Alafu ndio hapa si mamovie. So Ziko. Movie gani tuna review leo mtu wangu?
Inaitwa Hoosiers.
Yes.
HOO. Your jina ni
Hoosiers. Yes. It's a nice movie. Nina ratings zake, but it's also quite an old movie.
Yes. It's pretty old, but I felt like, first of all, I love basketball. So some of the plays ilikuwa by the professional kabisa. Like at some point I felt like I was watching a current game. Because the rules ziko too more or less the same. So yes, it might be za kitabu, but the message can be related to mpaka sahi. Yes, so it's about this guy called Norman Dale, who's the coach. So in a nutshell, the guy has a very bad past that caused him to lose his job then. So he did a hiatus for 10 years from coaching, akaenda into Navy, then now comes back as a coach with this high school team. And the team wasn't that good akianza, and there was a lot of misconduct among the players. Kuna wale wamefura kichwa ameenda kusema and goes there, not that he was a Christian, but it's not that vivid, but deep down you notice kuna that theme. There's this player who for him you omba baka coach anashinda manzi mjamaa si tunafaa kwenda baka at some point akipiga magoti kuomba, it has this player God anakunidi kwa pitch. Acha kumtafuta hapo, ingia pitch bana, God wants you there. So and whenever I watch sports, it takes me back to Paul, what Paul said about the analogy he used at the end of his life. He didn't give it manze preaching, manze I've preached the best sermon. He gave the analogy of sports, and that has always got me thinking. Perhaps for sports, there's a lot of lessons that we always learn. Come aside for this, it's majorly coaching, and as a player, because at the end of the day, I would want to say that I've run the good race. And as a runner, you need a coach. As a player, you need a coach. You need to play by the coach's rules. This guy has gone ahead of you. And we now get to see how the story turns around just because the coach knew what he was doing. And he stood by what he believed in. Kama ilikuwa discipline, for him it's like, they have to do this. Kama unisikizi, it's better. This for basketball, like football. Kama jana, we had Tanzania. Ukipewa red, your team disadvantage sasa ni nini? You are now playing less guys. Nice. For basketball, akunanga hiyo. But for him, he would rather have 4 guys play.
The time he played with 4 guys. Really bench.
Due to discipline. He's like, by the way, I'd rather we be beaten, but we learn a lesson on discipline.
And I liked this about this movie because I'm also into sports. I liked that, discipline will take you far.
Yes.
And there's an aspect of teamwork.
There is.
That takes our strengths and combines it. At the same time, in a feature our weaknesses as a team.
True.
And you'll see how this team performed later when they got the concept of, of teamwork,
defense, and yes,
and it got me to the word of God where where there's unity, God commands a blessing. That there's something about unity, and you'll see even in teams like hata saizi ukiangalia hata AFCON. Team imekuwa na ka disunity kidogo. Umeona defender na goalkeeper wamerushiana mkono, wanatwangwa mabao. So for somebody who is into sports, by the way, this is your movie to watch. It is. And also for somebody who is not really into sports, but teamwork is called out everywhere at a job. You get to see who's the weak link and how do I cover their weakness? Yes.
And how do I elevate or use their strength? To at least patch up or at least achieve a common objective.
Coach, and I've just thought about God. Mungu wa change kutufurahisha. He's the same God.
He's the same God.
And how at times tuko benched. In this scenario tunajibench juu hatutaki kuenda kwa the right way. And he's very patient that he keeps calling us back and taking us back.
In fact, if I may just allude to the movie, it mentioned something. There was a theme of giving guys second chances, because the coach himself had a second chance, but the assistant coach too. The coach knew that this guy is a drunkard, and when he's giving him the position, the
aspect of extending grace.
The guy is down there and is like, "Say, I want you. All you have to do is come with a suit, keep time." And he's not giving grace to someone who looks good. And I feel like that is what God did to us. I like what one rapper called Shailene said. He says that God didn't save us while we were sinking. Because that would mean that kuna some work we did kwa salvation. For what God did, he dove in to the deepest part of the sea, got us while we were lifeless. We were stinking. And there was nothing good that would please God in what we're doing. So Christ gave life to people who are stinking and worthless. So now our worth, we can now stand and say what Paul said, that we're jars of clay and inside us kuna worth. Because deep down, God didn't do God a favor by getting saved.
It doesn't change by the way.
God akwati amebweka Samanzi acha nitengeneze wase wanibambe. Ama alikuwa amekaka Samanzi na nidika white, hata nijenge white ndio anibambe. God is perfect and complete in how he is. And when he extends grace, it's just grace. In fact, the term grace has always been so interesting to me, because grace in its core is amazing. So when people say amazing grace, it's almost like a redundancy, as in it's stressing on something that has already, it's beautiful in itself. Ushaona something that doesn't even need makeup for it to look beautiful. That is grace, because grace in itself is just so amazing. And when you are a recipient of grace, you'll be so quick
to extend it.
Wow.
So watch the movie,
please.
Hoosiers. Itakuwa hapa Hope TV. Hope TV Sunday saa 8 na kutakuwa na marudio ya movie Sunday saa 4 usiku. Watch the movie and also be letting us know every Thursday, what you learned from the movie we recommended. And now that you're here, White Man, I'm just going to end this live because I want to do something with you.